these are must-have changes for EastEnders in 2025. Now, this could be anything from maybe Barney needs a new gum shield to maybe Teddy likes the owl, Uh, so these are just changes we want to see in 2025. This could be getting rid of the crime or bringing back the crime. This could be, again, like I said, Barney gets a new gum shield. Nicola gets a new car. Just things we'd like to
it's
see.
just generally, 2025 as a whole is going to be a very unpredictable time for EastEnders. Why is that? Well, Chris Glenshaw, having stepped down at the 40th anniversary, leads the room for Ben Wadey, the new executive producer. And if you don't know what happens when a new executive producer takes charge, well, a lot of stuff typically changes. You can't change everything. You still have to generally go on the direction that's been set before you. But through time, your storylines will be phased in, and the previous executive producer's storylines will be phased out. If you have a family that you want to introduce, like Chris Glenshaw on the way out has introduced the new Fowlers once again. Him getting his licks in. I'm doing that. That's me. Another family, 3 families for the price of one. Does he axe a bunch of characters? Does he decide I'm fed up of this family type show, this family based drama? More and more of that is just kind of it's just an interesting thing because, like I said, it's a very unpredictable time. I mean, if you just want to have an example of how uncertain things can get at these times, now I don't think it'll be as bad as this example, but Coronation Street, new executive producer taking shape, she's having to cut a lot of people. She's cut a lot of long-time people. She's cut a lot of new characters. So fundamentally, and a bunch of older characters do return. So it's an exciting time, but it's also a bit of instability at a time where Chris Glenshaw's put out a very consistent show for the last couple of years. So yeah, this is going to be This is predictions.
I guess
Predictions.
We kind of already did this video before, but
what do you mean? No, we didn't. This is completely separate. Predictions, not a wish list. This isn't what we want to see. This is what we think could happen. These are things that the new producer should take effect, whatever angle we decide to go with it. Returns. If we think about possible returns, I'm pretty sure we didn't say this in the other video. Get Max Brannon back. Has to be done. Has to be done at some point in time. You have to bring back Max with his new family to solidify the Brannons as this big new family. Well, not new family, as this reunited, bigger family. As, the Beals have kind of teamed up with the Knights. The Mitchells getting bigger by the second. The Slaters doing all their own stuff. The Brannings are still typically missing 1 or 2 or 3 characters. And if you do bring back Max, for example, you can bring back Oscar. If you have some really weird twist of fate, you can bring back Cora Cross, for example. And you could have, if you want a new character, you bring in Max. I assume he's got a wife, let's be honest. He loves settling down until he actually settles down. And then he decides to uproot everything again. Love him. Love you, Max. Legend. But, things that must change. This is kind of this is a bit of a wanky one, but people love to shit on it in terms of soap. A bit less of the block storytelling, in a sense. If people don't know what block storytelling is, it's where you tell a story for about 2 weeks and then you let it simmer and then it goes off screens for another couple of weeks. Then you bring it back again. The biggest example is Nish, for example, where it's he's here. Okay, cool. And then he's really, really a big focus character until 2023 Christmas. And then for about 3 months, he fucks off. Then he comes back. Then he leaves again. And it's that constant repetitive cycle where you do see glimpses of what you want. But typically there has been a precedent of you introduce a character, they have a really big, prickly entrance. and then you take them off screens for a little while for the fans to start to take to them a bit more, and then you have them have a new storyline, or alternatively, you just have them do nothing, which is, kind of what Teddy's been doing at this point, let's be honest. Or Anna, or Gina, or Jay, or, not Ben,
Tyson.
Ben's gone. Tyson.
Jasper.
Just that typical... It's just how soaps work at the best of times, and you can't really avoid doing it. But still, if it felt a little bit less tacked on, because sometimes it did feel like it's like, oh, where's Cindy? Cindy's been gone for 2 months now. So, wait, what? But we were only doing there. And especially, I think the biggest glaring point of this was the Reese stuff, where from July till about November, it's like, oh yeah, Reese killed Debbie, didn't he? Yeah. Yeah, Sonia's still in prison. Yeah. And he still kidnapped Bianca. It's like, oh, bloody... Can we please stop focusing on Reese? Please. I'm clawing out my eyes, please. Do you have any offering as I think of more?
I just axe the dead weight characters. I don't like seeing people lose their job. Like, I'm not... Especially if it was a pandemic. I don't want to see people lose their job, but it's not a pandemic anymore, so yeah. Just not going to name any names, just whatever you think the dead one.
Name them.
Fine. Bernie, I guess. Callum.
Yeah.
I definitely want Callum gone, because I just think that upsets the stands, and I like that. Because
he's not dying, though. He's not dying. He's not allowed to die.
I want him to die. That's the problem. In the show, the actor who plays him, you're alright. But it's just a weird thing, because this... And I know this is more about the stands, but the stands won't let him move on. They still want to remember Ben, and I'm like, if you're not going to let him move on, then, like, he's just, no, I'm Callum the policeman. I do fuck all. That's what I do.
Police things.
I do police things.
I mean, for a Coronation Street example, he is the Craig Tinker of Walford. And Craig Tinker is also generic policeman who doesn't really get any of his own storylines. So, yeah, great.
It's just...
You were interesting once. What about Felix? You want Felix gone?
I feel like you could keep Felix if you actually give him direction as well.
But does that not account for a bunch of the other names you said as well?
Well, Callum is the fact they're not really going to let him move on. They're going to have him let... Because unless Ben Whaley actually has the balls to move him on... I'm saying it's like the stands are going to storm L Street Studio. I know they're not. Some of them are just going to leave death threats. They're just going to leave death threats, let's be honest. But... like, Callum is a weird character because the stands are...
he did it. The weird thing is he did exist before Ben.
He did.
He did it. He was a character before Ben. He was
Halfway.
a Whitney for a time period,
which
is a cursed monkey paw in its own way. But, since he came out as gay, now it's all like, oh, you're Ben. You were Ben. Yeah, well, let him do something else. I do agree.
It's kind of like when you're known for the one thing. It's like Piggy. People used to associate me with the ice piggy fish, for a time, and it was the only thing I was known for. That and that I would show up at school, and I'm like, okay, anything else I'm gonna be known for? And it's like, nah, all right. It's like, if you're just known for that thing, it's like, oh, great, my accomplishments don't mean anything.
It's like, here is Callum. He is most known for being with Ben Mitchell. Well, he was. There was a time before Ben Mitchell. No, it wasn't. I mean, it's just also it's not to say what I want, but like predictions wise, I do think there will be more. I do think there'll be a bit more input on gay characters. Or just queer LGBTQIA plus characters this year. It feels like under Chris Crenshaw, they you have Suki and Eve, and that's it, really. You don't really have any other couples, any other gay couples. You do have gay characters. Sure, you don't need to pair off all the gay characters together, but it would be nice to actually have Felix get with someone, for example, or Callum get with someone, or Johnny get with someone, but alternative, they're all just forever alone and they barely hang out with each other.
Yeah, it's weird because I do want to see more queer representation, but it's just how do you go about it? Because I feel like you want them to be, and hopefully this doesn't get taken the wrong way. But you want them to be like a normal person where they do fit in with everyone. You just don't want to say, "Oh, there's Jerry the gay." That's
Yeah, obviously you don't isolate and you don't make their entire character point be that they are not straight. You know,
yeah. It's
like
just
there's a difference between token representation, and EastEnders is smart enough and clever enough to not just have a token character. Obviously, contrary to what people think about the DEI taking over the shows.
But I do agree that there should be more. Were you sucking the microphone? What the hell was that? Sounds like someone just came into your room and just let one rip. But like I do agree that there should be more queer representation. Give me that. But also, if you're not going to pair Callum with Johnny, which I think is the end goal to me. I know you said we don't want to.
They did tease it.
I know you said we don't want to pair the gays together, like the non-gays with the other gays. This feels weird. This feels like I'm doing the. I'm not going to say it, but just pair them. Like, come on. I want Callum to move on. If he's not moving on, just fuck off, please.
Or alternatively, can Bernie have a relationship with someone?
Yeah,
can Bernie have some happiness for once?
Can Big Burns get a relationship?
She's been openly a lesbian for years, and she had that relationship with that one bird with the dog. I don't remember her name, but she was in Tell Me Everything, which is a great TV show. But other than that, they kind of split up at some point. Give Bernie some happiness. She's had such a raw couple of years. She's basically lost everyone she ever loved, and is forever alone. So give her something, man.
And
what else?
If we're getting rid of Callum, it's time to bring back his brothers Stuart and Rainey. I know Ash gonna subject to say not bring back Rainey, but Chris Crenshaw did pretty much break up Bianca and Terry and Spencer and Vicky. So please don't make it.
To be fair, Chris Crenshaw did fire Stuart. So
why did he fire him?
Well, not necessarily firing, but you know when there's been a lot of flack recently about people are assuming that Martin was told that he was going to get killed off rather than his decision to leave. And it was not, Stuart probably would have stuck on the show from all the speculation had they not have went, yeah, Stuart's going to leave now.
The Brian Connolly special.
Yeah.
As we dubbed it, the Brian Connolly special. That's what he's known for on this channel. It's just pissing them off and leaving. That's Rocky for people who don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think the interesting part, the one thing that's going to be kind of fun to see in this year is we're going to see a lot of different pieces move, right? We know that Sonia's leaving, and that means that Dot's house is free. Now, perhaps it just goes to the New Fowlers. Alternatively, perhaps it just goes to the New Fowlers and life goes on. But currently the Knights are staying at Dot's house. The pub has been redecorated. I highly doubt the Knights are changing ship, because they didn't really throw around the title of landlord and landlady of the Vic. Usually have it for a long time. I mean, the Carters having it for 10 years, you know. But it feels like there's gonna be a lot of moving pieces of characters who were previously there, now gone. Sharon and Zach, they no longer have Martin sticking around. Ruby is imminently leaving as far as everybody's concerned. So it'd be interesting to see how things reshape with this new identity as such, you know. Is Phil gonna get with someone? I mean, I'm still holding out hope that Shirley returns at the end of the day. I'm still holding if they hadn't announced that she was going to come back, I know it's ridiculous to still be holding on because it's probably nearly been 2 years now. It's probably, didn't Lauren come in 2023 at the start of the year?
So I believe it was announced, let me just remember this.
I think it's October.
October 2023 they announced that Penny, who was recasted, and Lauren, obviously who plays Lauren, were going to be brought back, and Karen Taylor was set to leave That was what they
Yeah.
announced. They also announced that Shirley Carter is imminent to return. But there's been a lot of speculation whether or not that part was just added on as like, oh, because I don't think the BBC actually announced that Shirley was going to return. To my knowledge,
Yeah.
to my knowledge, I think it was just some spider on my wall.
I mean, I'm 90% sure we saw. I'm pretty sure we explained it. There was a Digital Spy article about Shirley. But still, it's it's a character you want to see. She is an iconic character at the end of the day. And yeah, sure, she doesn't entirely fit as much now because she doesn't really have as much family there. Like at least with the Carters, she had a lot more wiggle room. But even then, so a lot of her best work with the Carters were a lot more of the kind of like slimmed down version of them. Like at the end of the day, the Carters didn't really work as well, anyways. And Shirley, despite being like the focal point of this new family, was still pretty much doing her same stuff, just with the family around her. But like, you still have Linda around, you still have baby Annie. Yeah, you want to, and Ollie as well. You also have the potential idea of Phil's in a mental hospital. Is Shirley still? As far as Dean said, she was sectioned. She was also in a mental health hospital. Is there a chance they rekindle? Like, I don't know, man. It feels she is sorely missed. Like, yeah, sure, they've kind of added the more like catty characters, not Cat the character, but like the more, because Shirley would. I feel like Kathy's kind of taken a bit of that Shirley type role of the one-liners and the disapproving and the snide remarks and the kind of edge and the kind of not ego, but just the nonchalant attitude that Shirley had. But it's still, you can't really. You can put that coat on anyone; it doesn't make them Shirley Carter. At the end of the day, I think that'd be something I desperately hope will get fixed.
This is a rogue one, but I don't care. I know Ash wants her with Shirley, and I know we actually have that soap bitch. We have Cindy and we have Nicola, but please, Emma Harding, please, you're an icon of watching Walford. We need you back one last time.
That's Lola's mum.
It's Lola's mom. Now, if you don't know the lore, basically she scared a child and was she imitated a child, and she was just
she threatened a child.
She threatened a child. That's pretty much all she's known for on this channel. She was Lola's mom. She kind of showed up when Lola died, and then came back for someone's wedding, and then shagged Phil, and then left. So I'm really hoping Emma has a child with Phil, and we just
no, that's completely separate. I'll be happy if we never see her again. But I want them to stop toying around with relationships that they keep teasing are going to happen but they never do them. Like, it's like, are you guys all excited to see Anna and Freddie? And they're together. Oh, and they're gone again. Okay, and are they gonna keep getting together? No. They don't talk about it for months. Oh, are they gonna do Anna? Are they gonna do Gina and Jay? Then maybe they keep teasing the idea of it, but and they're not gonna do it. And it's one of those things where it typically they keep teasing stuff for the future, but don't actually do them. Just continue. Like, Kat and Alfie are back together. Yeah, they've been back together for ages now. We've seen about 2 scenes of them together.
Just on that point of Kat and Alfie, I know, like, it's very weird to do it because it has been 3 years since he's returned. But please, can we just not get them back together? I'm still pissed off the fact they don't acknowledge 2018. You just don't let someone who said you're the reason why you were assaulted as a teenager, back in your life, who blamed you for all your problems. You're
the reason you were groomed by your uncle.
Yeah, like I understand it's 3 years and I need to let it go, but I can't. He's not the same Alfie. You've ruined him.
I mean, honestly, I've been throwing out the bold takes as a whole. I honestly think Alfie needs to go. it's not like he's been bad, but he's just not. He's just like he's been there. He's been back for like 3 years now, and you can count the memorable things he's done on on one hand. Like they've never really given this version of Alfie as much like shine as he usually would get. And I get that they're trying to like kind of build back the rapport with the fans of, yeah, he had a pretty rough time in the middle there. Let's forget about that time period.
I won't.
But like I don't know if Alfie works at this point in time with EastEnders. Like he's serviceable, but you know, if we're getting budget cuts, I don't really think. I mean, I don't even really think Cat's necessary at this point in time. But it could just be the fact that they've not really been used as much, so it doesn't feel as important to the show. But like they've really been made an afterthought of this like recent iteration of the show. So you either fully remind everybody why Cat and Alfie are great together, or you just let them go and you give them a couple years out, because both characters feel extremely tired. And we don't really get to see the best of either, and we haven't for a long time.
See, I think this is where I say, get rid of them and do Redwater season 2. Come on, that would be perfect. I haven't watched season 1, but I'll watch season 2 hopefully. But Cat kind of works for this era, but Alfie has just. I understand I'm flogging a dead horse, but I just can't look at Alfie the same. I just can't. I can't. He's not the Alfie I knew.
Yeah, but even if you just take a look at like what he's done in his recent stint, he's had cancer, but because they did Lola's storyline, they didn't really want to redo it all again, and they wanted to make it different, but they still didn't really make it that important. And he had his little friendship with Linda that is kind of not been around for a while. And they had his weird reintroduction where he was kind of obsessively following Cat for no reason. But you have Cat where you had Cat with Phil, which worked. It did actually work quite well. Obviously, that had to die to kind of facilitate this new storyline with Phil's like loneliness, which, you know, fair enough. But it's just I don't think either character's recovered. Like even for the 40th, Cat and Alfie weren't even really there.
No,
they just showed up at the end.
Can I?
Oh, what the bloody? We weren't even here, were we? Way, see ya.
Can I add something to this? Can we not go back to the status quo? Which I don't want to see Sharon and Phil back together again either. I just don't. Neither. I understand it's, oh, you remember this nostalgia, but I'm like, no. You've done this twice. The second time you absolutely shot in the back of the head and left the wound open, and it did not work.
Yeah, like. It's not like it's Art the Clown. It's not coming back from that, you know? It's not just going to magically regenerate and he's going to get back up like nothing happened and people are still going to want it. No, you don't. You don't still want Sharon and Phil. Some people do, admittedly, but like that's not really based off of their relationship of the last couple of years, or even the last decade. That's based off of what they did in the 90s. It's not still there. It's not like, I don't think Sharon and Phil are necessary. I can understand if they're both at like the end of their years and you want them to act like they're soulmates in the end and they've always loved each other through and through. But still, it's kind of once again, it's also tired for me.
Yeah, maybe we're jaded towards that. Maybe people are excited for it. But, okay, if I could choose between Cat and Alfie getting back together or Phil and Sharon, I'm choosing Phil and Sharon. But I do not want either of them back together. I know I'm flogging a dead horse with Alfie, but still.
Excuse me? Oh, he said flogging. Jesus. That sounded different on the microphone. Jesus.
But yeah.
Piggy is not doing anything to said horse.
I am a pig after all.
I wasn't intending this video to be more negative, but I suppose it's just generally... It's not negative in the way that it's worse because of these things. It's just more so if you are ironing out the kinks, you kind of don't want them to be there. Like if you intentionally iron a shirt and you put it on and it's creased all over this place, like what was even the fucking point? Like I did this to change and make it better. And this is more so the angle. Like, yes, there are a lot of characters who people would describe as deadweight, and you don't want them to be deadweight. You either give them a storyline or you make them leave. Because ultimately, maybe if you bring them back in the future, maybe then they actually get the big storyline and the attention that they deserve. And alternatively, you pair up some more of the characters who are floundering. You know, if they are gay characters, straight characters, no matter the difference, still you want them to actually get together rather than flirting with the idea of getting together. Because you can get excited and invested in an idea, but usually it's a little more exciting if you actually see it happen. You know what I mean? Like, ideas are only fun to some people. What else have we suggested? Less block storytelling. Still, it's not like it's been killing the show as such. It's just typically you would rather them not spend all that. Like, you don't want to spend 3 weeks with Reese and then 1 week with Cindy and then 3 more weeks with Reese. You're sick of it. You don't want to see it all in such a high quantity at the same time. And, you know, not returning to the status quo. Chris Glenshaw did typically take the idea of going ahead and kind of reuniting couples that are meant to be together in the sense, but also there's also reasons to suggest why they shouldn't be together. Sharon and Phil are cool in theory, but in practice they're miserable. Kat and Alfie are cool in theory, and them getting back together was an interesting idea. At the end of the day, they've just kind of quickly become roommates again. Like, it's you can't really win with small victories, right? But still, it's not like we are shading the show. These are just some things that we'd like to change in 2025 to brush off the dust of the Chris Glenshaw era. It has been left in pristine condition. Alternatively, you know, he did do a really good job of it, but a new person is going to be at the helm. A new cleaner's in. And they're probably going to polish it slightly different. So that's what is the most exciting to see. What stuff do you think needs to change in 2025? What predictions do you want? Or whatever the hell this video even was. Whatever it was. Tell us in the comment section. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.